Each year, millions of coconuts are collected, cracked, and crushed to feed the ever-increasing demand of the coconut products industry. These mature coconuts often leave hundreds of thousands of young coconuts to fend for themselves until they mature and inevitably meet a similar fate as their elders. Today, we are here to hear the story of young Kevin, who managed to make it out of the flea market stand where he was up for sale and made his way to the United States in search of the American dream.
Good afternoon, my name is Gemma. Welcome to the Hotspot with TRN. First of all, welcome, Kevin, and thank you very much for being here with us today.
Oh yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell us, Kevin, because I think this is a very, very important detail. Why are you choosing to be here with us under an alias versus your real name?
Well, as you know, I am imported, but even though I'm well-regulated, legally imported fruit, I fear the risk of exportation as backlash for speaking out.
Yes, that is right, Kevin, and that's definitely a reality that we've had to learn to live with in the last few months, regrettably. Now, I want to ask you, let's talk a little bit about how you got to the United States. You say you've been here for how long?
15 years, Emma. 15 years.
And if I'm not mistaken, you are 25. You're still a young coconut.
Yes, that is correct. Well, I lost my family to a coconut oil factory at a very young age and was almost collected myself, but through the grapevine, I heard about this amazing place called America. You know, the stand I was being sold at was right next to a vineyard. Well, most of the grapes were pretty ripe, so I found their advice to be quite helpful, you know, like a parent, you know. The very next day, I set out to find America and start over.
Wow, that sounds like a very difficult decision to make for a young coconut, Kevin. How old were you then?
I was a 10-year-old coconut, Emma. To be fair, I don't think I even really had to make that choice. I just did what the grapes thought was best for me. So in a way, I didn't have a choice but to be imported. I did what I had to do to survive.
This is the case with a lot of young coconuts in your position, isn't it?
Yeah, it actually is. We were brought here at a very young age and have lived our entire lives as native fruits. Honestly, I might as well be a Georgia peach or a Washington apple.
Tell us a little bit about your first few years in the States.
Well, when I first arrived in, I heard that there was an opening at a local tiki bar, so I rolled downtown to check it out. A job's a job, so whatever the opportunity was, I was ready to take it. It ended up being a catering job, which honestly I was not very good at. Holding trays with plates and cocktails on them can be pretty challenging when you don't have any hands, but I managed to hold on to the job while I got through school. But one day I ended up accidentally dropping a tray full of glassware in the middle of a wedding reception, and I was fired shortly after. It was rough. I'd never been fired before. Yes,
I can definitely relate. Getting fired is never easy, especially when you're all on your own. You must have had a really tough time getting over that.
Yeah, the first month after was probably the hardest month of my life, but I actually got really lucky. Met a couple of friends who really inspired me to take a chance and live up to my full potential. See, my biggest dream has always been to have my own business, and I love the tiki bar idea, so I got to work. Now, shortly after I began my journey as an entrepreneur, my friends and I were hanging out, and that's where my wife Samantha and I met.
So it's actually a really funny story. I tripped over what I thought was a round rock, and there he was. He's always just been himself, you know? Simple, round, organic, 100% natural, gluten-free, if you know what I mean. Yeah, then he asked me out for a coffee, he took me to his bar, we had a couple drinks, and you know, the rest is history. Here we are. He helps me just want to be the best version of myself. I used to have all sorts of digestive disorders and my skin was dry, but now I feel healthy and full of life again. I don't even want to think about what we would do without my husband. I don't even know how to feed him.
So tell us a little bit about the kind of judgment you get from people these days. President Trump made an allegation during his campaign last year that has regrettably grown to be a very, very popular opinion about coconuts. He said, and I quote, "Coconuts are nuts. not fruit, and are very high in saturated fats, which will kill you. Now, how do you feel about that?
I don't like talking about this topic. We agree. No. Fuck! This is absurd. That man had no fucking right. Get that camera out of my face! I need to step outside. I need some fresh air.
Mama! Get me the close up.
Welcome back, Kevin. I want to apologize. I really did not mean to upset you.
No, it's no worries, Gemma. These things happen. It's simply a sensitive issue because I've been subject to a lot of discrimination simply for who I am because of that statement, and nobody deserves that kind of treatment.
I completely understand, Kevin, and I agree.
Look, the bottom line is this. I am not a nut. I am a fruit, just like the next guy, so that is clearly an alternative fact. Second, yeah, I may be a little high on the saturated fats front, but I do not cause heart attacks. I mean, look at what people eat on a daily basis, for crying out loud. McDonald's, Taco Bell, KFC. How do you expect not to die from a heart attack? So don't blame us, okay? Not all foods are bad for you, even the fatty ones. Yeah. There are coconuts that fall off the palm, and there are casualties, but not all coconuts. In fact, most coconuts are great. They're not bad guys. We just get a bad rep from all the alternative facts that xenophobe buffoons with access to a fucking podium spew out at a farmer's market.
That is happening depressingly often these days. Kevin, thank you so much for being here with us today. Any last thoughts before we say goodbye to our viewers?
Yes, I would like to say this. I came here today to take a stance for all the other imported coconuts out there, like myself, who don't know another home but here. See, we've adapted and eagerly embraced the culture, and the majority of us have even built businesses, families, and full lives for ourselves the American way. We are the living, breathing American dream, the epitome of the principles on which our founding fathers wrote the Constitution, and yet we live in fear of having everything we've ever worked for taken away simply because our lives began on the wrong side of the market, because we're not exactly like them, because they don't understand us. But the truth is, you and I, we're not so different. We grew up listening to the same music, eating the same foods, we went to the same schools, and in fact, you and I went to the same university. I saw the mug on your desk on the way in. Go Horns.
Go Horns.
I want to go back. If I do, chances are I'll end up stuffed into a coconut oil jar just like my family. And I'm not saying it's a bad place to be, don't get me wrong. Everyone has their purpose, but that's not mine. That's not my home. I'm an American coconut. I am home.
Oh, that was beautiful, Kevin. Thank you so much. And thank you to our audience for being here today. This has been Hotspot with TRN. We will see you next week.